everyone, in this video we are going to discuss a new type of relation, one-to-one function. Before we start talking about this one, let's discuss or review how do we determine if the given graph or table or any format is a function or not. Let's check the first question. We have 4 pictures here, 4 graphs here. How do we determine if a given graph is function? Some students probably already recalled, yes, it is vertical line test. And sometimes we even call this pencil test. You can imagine you put a pencil vertically here, and if the vertical line only passes the graph once, here, that means it passed the test, it is a function. However, if you have multiple intersections here, then that is not a function, This once, so it is function. So we use vertical line test to determine if it's going to be a function or not. The reason is each x produce the unique y, okay? So for, let's check another format, which is we are looking at a 2 function table, not 2 tables here. As you can see, the first one is actually function because each input did produce the one output. As you can see, one input produce one output, one input produce one output. Some students might argue, hold on, 1 and 3 produce the same output, which is fine, because as long as your input produce one output, that's okay. But check this one. 4 produce 2 different outputs. This is not okay, not a function. You can imagine, for example, I want to use your student name to find his ID. I can now say I put a same name. The first time I get one ID and I try it again, I get a different ID. It cannot be working, right? Also, for example, you go to vending machine. For example, I want to choose C1. C1 is Dorito, okay? But the first time you get Dorito, second time you click again, it gives you different snack. That's also not going to work. So that's why each input should produce one output, not always changing. So that won't be a function. Next, we are going to discuss, hey, how does one-to-one function look like? First, we are going to look at these 2 functions here. And let's find the value based on the input we have 2, 0, -2. Since the first one is 2x, meaning 2 times the value of x, we just need to substitute value here. So it's 4, 0, -4. Let's do exactly the same thing for the other function, but this time is x squared, which is 4, 0, 4, because -2 times -2 gives you 4. As you can see here, for the first function, we have 3 different inputs, give us 3 different values output. But for the second one, it is a function, but for the different inputs, we do have same output. In this situation, what is one-to-one function? Meaning different input give us different output. Then this situation, this is one-to-one function. Then in simple words, we can give the definition as one-to-one function is a function that different inputs gave different outputs. Each x give you unique y, and each different x will give us different y's. So we are going to use this definition to help us to figure out more situation here. Let's check the table here. Which one represents a one-to-one function? If you're not so sure, you can pause the video now and to check the question on your own to see which one is the answer. And then we can, now we can also check which one actually is one-to-one function. Before we do that, please remember one-to-one function, the key word is function and the one-to-one. So that means it has to be a function. Then we need to discuss if this is a one-to-one function, right? So let's check the first one. As you can see here, 4 as one input produces 2 different values here. It's not going to be a function. Then it's not a one-to-one function because it's not a function. And then this one, as you can see, -2 and 0 produce the same output, not a one-to-one. This one, x all different, y different, so this is our one-to-one function. And this one again, -2 produce 2 different values. It is not a function, okay? So that's one idea here. Next, we are going to look at the different format of function, which is graph. This actually comes to the beginning question here. We reviewed, we know 1 and 4 are functions. Now we are going to look for further. As we see here, 1 and 4 are functions, right? But now we're going to look at then which one is actually one-to-one function. As we see the first one, you look at it, if I look at the different x here, they actually different x, but guess what? They come to the same value, right? So different x give you the different y, different x give the different y. Let's say this is 2 different value. So apparently this is not a one-to-one function. So it's not one-to-one. But some students probably notice, hey, it seems that we can use a horizontal line test because I just need to draw the horizontal line. If this intersect twice, like more than once, then it's not one-to-one function, and you're right. So to determine if this is a function, we use, as we mentioned before, vertical line test. But for testing if this is one-to-one function, what do? We use horizontal line test. Once I cross once they pass, so this is one-to-one function. Some student might argue, hey, hold on. If I check the second one, it also intersects once. Why you say this is not the answer? Again, in this topic, we are talking about one-to-one function. As we discussed before, it is not a function, so we don't need to go further to discuss one-to-one. So that's why, in this case, we know, let's make it very clear, this is function, also one-to-one function. We can easily use horizontal line test to test if this one-to-one function. Okay, I hope this video helps, and thank you so much for watching it. See you soon.